Hi guys and welcome back to my channel Popcorn Reviews. I'm Farhad. If you're new to this channel then please smash that subscribe button now. And the 700 subscribers is in sight right now. So please help me achieve that and thank you again for your continued love and support. And today the film that I want to discuss is a part of the revisit section that I've been doing over the past few weeks. And the film that I'm going to be discussing is the Malayalam film See You Soon, which had premiered directly on Amazon Prime, and it is about to complete 2 years next week. Exactly on 1st September, the film completes 2 years, which means basically that it was shot during the first lockdown. Now, we all know how hard that time was, when the first lockdown was announced, and almost everybody was at home, and there was a scarcity of content, you can say, because there weren't shootings happening, all the industry, all the people were closed. But it is when the Malayalam film industry rose to the occasion. Why do I like Malayalam films and why do I love the Malayalam film industry is because they are brave and gutsy, and they do not see any obstacle as an issue, but they look for solutions. So the entire film was shot during the lockdown, where only the main technicians were on set and everybody was there at their own houses, and that's how this film was shot. See You Soon, which stars Fahad Fazil, Roshan Mathew, and Darshana, directed by Mahesh Narayanan, who had earlier then directed Take Off, later went on to direct Malik. So it is a huge film in a way to say, and they went on with the OTT release. I still remember. I was just still new to this setup and just about discovering, Malayalam films. I had watched plenty at that point, but actively started reviewing Malayalam films then. And the popcorn reviews, the site that is which I talk about, was much at its inception stage, and it was 2 months from the time we went live. So this was in September, we went live in November, and this film just came out. It is like a Fahad Fazil film, okay, and I had watched Kumbalangi Nights back before that and Take Off before that, so I knew the capabilities of a star like Fahad Fazil. But Roshan Mathew, I think Roshan Mathew, I had earlier watched this film Muthon, and I think it was Choked that I had watched also. I can't remember which timeline that was, but that was enough to indicate that he's a terrific actor. The Muthon performance still stays with me. Someday I'm going to speak about that film as well. And it also had Darshana, and I think this was one of my first Darshana films that I had watched. She later on to went on to act in films like Irul or Hridayam, and she's a terrific actor with such a disarming smile. I mean, she's such a sweet smile, I mean, I can say. So the screenplay is very unique here, and this is where it was something that caught the imagination of the audience. The entire film was almost unfolding on a desktop, you can say. I think barring the last couple of minutes or 5 minutes, I think, which was actually in physical meet, but other than that, the entire film was shot in on a desktop. So the events were unfolding on either an iPad or a laptop or a desktop. So it is something that is very unique and something that I earlier watched in the English film Searching, and something that I absolutely loved. That they actually went on to conceptualize that entire thing over a desktop by shooting, just because their surroundings were such, that you weren't allowed to, meet in person, or you were stuck at your own home. So what should we do? Let's make a film. That's the attitude that I love, and See You Soon is one of the films that I still feel doesn't get enough credit. I think the screenplay was very tight here. It was just about 99 minutes, less than 100 minutes for sure, and probably 90 minutes. I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments. It's been a while since I watched the film, but it wasn't a tedious watch. I remember the twists and turns. So Amazon Prime, it had released on Amazon Prime, and Amazon Prime has a habit of releasing their films a night prior to that. So as usual, after my office schedule, I decided to watch that film, and I could not stop raving about it. I binge watched it in one go, and I remember messaging one of my friends late in the night saying, "You have to watch this film, please do watch it." And the screenplay, as I was saying, I talked about the screenplay and I diverted, sorry, but the screenplay here is filled with twists and turns. It has that millennial lingo to it, where all of us, most of us, I'm not, but most of us are on dating sites, and there are perks of dating sites, but there are also cons associated with it. You don't know the other person whom you are meeting. So that is a concept that was spectacularly represented here in an element of mystery that was surrounding it, and the mystery element was such that it made you curious as to what is going on and where is this heading. That entire first half, it doesn't allow you to settle at all. It just, you are on the move right from the frame one. It moves at a breakneck pace. I think this was one creative decision that probably the writers may have also taken, to just go out there, let's not build a world, let's not give any so to say backdrop about what the characters are and where do they come from. Normally that you do see in Malayalam films, they really like to set up the world before, getting into the context, but here it's all on the go, and on the go you get to know a lot many things about the characters. I think that was a genius decision here. And other than that, I felt that, the various twists and turns were spectacular. I just had one little flaw, that last bit that was there. I think the revelation came a little too easy for me, but nevertheless, I mean, the screenplay was absolutely to die for. The technical aspects were spectacular. The dialogues were conversational. You needed to pay attention to them, though. Not a very hard film to follow, I would say, but still you needed to pay attention to, truly to, get the gist of it, and that is something that I really enjoyed. Also, the background music, I think, was scintillating. It just kept you attentive all throughout. And what do I say about the cinematography? The cinematography is absolutely spectacular here. It's innovative, and the camera angles are such that they give you an impression, that you are surfing the net. Which brings me to the editing also. The editing was top notch. I think the best you'll ever see in any film. It is spectacular. The editing plays a very important part in this role, and it's easy, to uh, if there is a mistake, it gets amplified in such films, here. But the editing was so sharp here that you almost felt like, you were switching screens very fast, like if we actually have to switch a screen, it wouldn't be like actually switching. Here it was actually an edit that was there, and that was as crisp as that. So it was fabulous, the editing that was there. And the direction, Mahesh Narayanan, I mean, absolute genius. I'll also be talking about his film Malik someday, but sticking to this film, I think this was. And I did go in with an anticipation that this is the director of Takeoff, which I'd watched, one of the earlier Malayalam films that I'd watched. I would also like to talk on that someday. But he absolutely lived up. In fact, he crossed all the expectations that I had. It was absolutely magnificent. I was wide awake at 2 a.m. for that once the movie got over. So that is how much I'd enjoyed it. The performances are absolutely spectacular. I think three great performers, having a go is absolutely a sight to the viewers that is there. And the magic of Fahad Fazil just, went on increasing. I later went on to watch Trans, a film that I'll also be talking about someday. I'm giving so many names, but yes, Trans I had watched after this. Though it had come before that, I had watched Trans after that, and that was, I think, my favorite Fahad Fazil performance. I'll talk about that later. But Roshan Mathew, also the innocence, that vulnerability that he brings on screen was absolutely spectacular to watch. Darshana, I think, was charming. I mean, who wouldn't fall for her, and then for her to suddenly disappear, I think that was something that really takes you aback, and the entire film moves with from the gaze of Jimmy. I think his character was Roshan Mathew in the first half, and second half Kevin, character played by Fahad Fazil. So I think this is one of the highly recommended films that I had recommended back then as well. And if you still haven't watched it, it is on Amazon Prime. Please give it. I don't think this film, I think this film was, uh, overshadowed by many other great Malayalam films, you can say, but this is still a great film for me, and it was one of the films that made people notice about the Malayalam films and the risks that they take, So that is something that was spectacular to watch. The risks and the braveness that they show, the gutsiness that they show, and to actually come up with solutions and not crib about the situation. I think that is something that this film showed. If you're liking this video, please smash that like button. Let me know your thoughts on the film. See you soon in the comment section. Also, let me know if there are any other recommendations for the films. I promise I will be doing some recommendations next week. Let's see. Hopefully, and the full review of See You Soon is present on my site, Popcorn Reviews with a double S, the link of which is in the description box below. A word of caution though, this is one of my earlier reviews, so it may not be as in detail as the current reviews are, but this video is enough. And yeah, if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. It's free of cost, and I promise to give you good content over and over again. And please follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Letterboxd. All the links are in the description box below. So then until next time, thank you so much.